from the Adirondacks. I just left the AMR and I am set out to hopefully accomplish Colvin, Blake, Nippletop, and Dial today. I'm just approaching the Stable Club here. It's just extremely picturesque. This is my second trip here. It's just beautiful. Giant is in the background there. The plan for today, as I mentioned, is the 4 peaks. So for me, that's going to be high peak 6, 7, 8, and 9. Technically, I'll be doing 5 peaks because you're going to go up Colvin, over to Blake, back over to Colvin, and down before you carry on. This will be an 18.5 mile trip. So it's a loop essentially, but then you're going to do an out and back to Colvin and Blake at the top of that loop. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous or intimidated by this hike. This is going to be a long hike, my longest hike since I've been out here. Today is day 4, so it'd be maybe a little bit of a different story if I was on fresh legs, but today is my 4th day out here. I've already done 45 miles on day 1, 2, and 3, and have done 5 high peaks so far. So that's kind of my only, I don't want to say concern, but my option, what I'm going to do is when I get to the top of that loop, I can make the call to do Colvin and Blake at that point, see how I feel, assess my water, how I'm feeling, and then go forward. A little bit more about this hike. There is no water past Gil Brook, which is down here. So I will have to do a little bit more of a heavy water carry up with me. So I have plenty of water as I'm up and follow the ridge line. When you come back down the trail, you're gonna be 0.8 from the AMR sign-in. So I don't think that there's any streams there. So I just wanna make sure I have enough water, which I should be good. I read a little bit about this and it is gonna be a bit of a gnarly hike at some points. Especially you gotta kind of go over, when you have to go over the one peak, but the ascent, I believe, to Nippletop is, I think, 1,100 feet of elevation gain and 0.6. So that will kind of feel like you're going straight up. The total elevation on this hike is going to be 6,500 feet. Here, the Stable Club. It's just so pretty. It's very foggy here this morning. Another beautiful day here. I am out here for 7 days. I can do 7 days of hiking. I am going to try to hike every one of those 7 days. So I'm kind of mixing in shorter days and longer days, or harder hikes. I shouldn't say shorter. Every day I've been out here, spent 8 to 10 hours. I'm hoping to accomplish this hike in under 12 hours. All right, we're at the sign-in. Let's get signed in and get this party started. Approaching the AMR gate. I have a little bit of a road walk. I've done this road walk on my day 1 when I did Sawteeth and Indian Head. I'll link that video in here. So I have a bit of a road walk before I'm going to veer off on Gil Brook. My plan was to be on trail at 6 a.m., but I got a little tangled up signing in. I had signed in before on my day 1. It was real easy. He just asked for my last name and checked me off and I was on my way. But there was a few people in front of me, and he was having people come out of their car, open up the reservation, went through instructions on parking. So there was a few people in front of me and had to do that process. So I got a little bit later start than I had wanted. Not a huge deal, but on these big days I get antsy. No surprise to get on trail and get moving. Cute little bridge crossing over to the, what's called is the Ladies Mile. Not sure what that is, but I'm headed towards the Big Girl Mountains. Yesterday was my first time wearing the Injinji toe socks. Game changer. I was on day 3 out here yesterday when I wore them. After day 2, I was starting to get blisters. Day 3, I wore those. Not only did I not get any new blisters, but somehow I feel my old blisters have healed. I also band-aided my heel vertically opposed to horizontally, and that seemed to help as well. This will be an extremely welcomed sight when I come down. This is the way I'll be coming down from Dial, and then it's 0.8 to the sign-in gate from there. All right, about 2.7 miles in, we have reached the Gil Brook Trail, which is our turnoff. Passing by a beautiful little waterfall. The next waterfall I'm going to pass, I believe, is Artist Falls. We should be coming up on that shortly. So the path does give you an option of an easier scenic route. I just came from the easy route. That is the scenic route, which I took on my last time I was here. So you can see more of that in my Indian Head and Sawteeth video, which I will link in. But I took the easy route for today since the day is going to be very challenging. Making a quick pit stop here at Artist Falls to do my fill up before I start heading up. I will have 1 liter, my other liter, and my 700 mils to bring with me, and that's gonna have to get me back to the car. So I think I should be good. All right, water fill complete. I've got about 6-ish pounds of water on me total. I should have would have been a better idea to fill all of my water there. I came in with my liter and my 700 here filled, and then filled the last liter right before my last chance here before going up. We have reached another sign, Colvin, Elk Pass, Nippletop. That's where we're going. This possibly could be Artist Falls. I've passed even a few waterfalls on my way, so to be honest, I don't know, and it kind of disappeared off my map. I did stop and fill water up here on my previous hike. Just starting to get a little more into the ascent. A little less rocky than some of the other ones have been, so that is nice. I do expect that to change, but for right now, I'll take it. So you can't camp on the summits or above 3,500 feet, but I believe in certain areas that, I mean, I'd have to check the rules on each one, but that you can pretty much set up shop in a lot of spots, just anywhere. I just passed on the trail a group of maybe 5 or 6 people that had backpacked in and set up their camp. Another sign, we are 1.8 from the summit of Colvin. Definitely breaking trail this morning. I feel like I could knit a sweater out of the cobwebs that I'm going through. Keep going in my mouth. Getting our first view of Nippletop here. That would mean Dial is over here. This is the ridge, but Dial's kind of hiding back behind here. All right, this trail is starting to get a little steeper. Still not super rocky. There have been some rocks and then, you know, a little bit of mud, but it's kind of crazy. It hasn't rained here for several days. So a lot of the muddy spots I just think are permanently muddy on this trail. I can't imagine what this would look like after some heavy rainfall. We made it to decision time. Colvin and Blake are that way. Nippletop and Dial is this way. I'm gonna do Colvin and Blake. I'm gonna come back down. I'm gonna assess myself and my water and all of that, and then make the decision on Nippletop and Dial. I'm planning on doing all of them, but I just want to be responsible and safe, so I will kind of check in to see how I feel. I'm not sleeping on this out and back. It's 4.8 miles. It's, I think, the longest out and back in the park. and you go over Colvin twice. So essentially I'm going to be hitting 3 summits, and either it's, I mean, the up or down, I can't remember if it's Colvin or Blake, is I think pretty gnarly. So let's get to it. So this is kind of what's been happening to me. I just came up the hill here, and it kind of looks like this is where the path goes. And I just came up from here. So sometimes I head that way, but the path actually goes this way. So I've been getting a little more careful at making sure I'm going the right way. Time to get after this scramble. I did mention in a previous video that my balance is not so good. I was going across this little mud pit here, and I stepped off that log, and that mud is deep. So kind of got a little muddy here, but should dry and fall off in no time. Another pretty good scramble to go up. I think I'm gonna kind of approach it here, go that way, or possibly here. We'll see what I feel like once I get up there. Made it, rewarded with a beautiful view. Yeah, that's gonna be a little gnarly coming down, but manageable. Hey, buddy. Almost stepped over him on the trail, but I could hear him. High peak number 6, just summited. Got the summit marker right here. Jack, got you with me. You made the trip too, buddy. Beautiful, beautiful views up here. So I'm gonna head over to Blake. I'm not sure if that's I think that's the Osable River down here. And we can get a little bit of a view of what we're doing today. That's gonna be Nippletop here, and Dial is down here, I believe, somewhere. I don't know if we can really see it or if that's it right there, but for right now it's gonna be over to Blake and then back over this down to the loop to make our call on going to Nippletop. Just walking to Blake. It was about 6.24 to the summit and took me about 2 hours and 35 minutes to get there. My pace will probably slow down here as I continue doing more and more hills, but that is just a little time stamp for where I'm at. Getting my first views of Blake. Still descending down to get in between the valley in between to head up. I started ascending Blake a little bit ago, and it just continues, of course, but getting pretty steep here. As we go up, getting a view of Colvin, which we just came down from. Just so you don't get your hopes up too much, there are no views from Blake apparently. So no views and no water. So this peak gets pretty hated on, I think. And I mean, you just got to do it, right? If you're going to do 46, you got to come up here at some point. That was kind of my thinking for today, was to at least lop this off. Because if for whatever reason I can't do Nippletop or Dial, then I can just do that one in a separate trip. This should be fun. A little section to go up. High peak number 7, just summited Blake. As promised, no views up here. However, I am met with a very lovely summit marker that says Blake. So we have made it. Jackie made it with me, buddy. And I'll tell you, there was some scrambling coming up there. I'll maybe get a picture from the top. I don't know if it will be, if it will just show how scrambly it was coming up, but it's a steep climb getting up here. Now, back down, back up Colvin, back down to the loop. Kind of hard to see. This is probably the best view of the scramble down. I did there was kind of 2 notable scrambles. The first one I videoed on the way up, facing up. This was kind of the second most notable one. I mean, right over that thing is a straight down. So, beautiful view. This is looking straight up for me. This is my view straight forward. And that is where we're going. So plenty of branches and trees for me to grab along and kind of traverse along the side. This was the second kind of view from above. We are going all the way down to the bottom there. This is our view. Incredible. We are back to the intersection to go head up and now do the loop for Nippletop and Dial. I am gonna make a run for it. Finish the out and back. Don't sleep on that out and back. 4.8 miles. Took me 3.5 hours. Or 3.5. Yeah, it took me 3.5 hours to complete that 4.8 out and back. It takes a lot of time. It's not a drop your pack and go run kind of out and back. So now gonna head to, we got 1.9 to Nippletop, and I know I think it's the last mile or a mile of it is very steep, so it's gonna feel like forever, but I am ready to do this. I've got plenty of water, I got gas in the tank, so should be good. That's where we're going. Pretty good view. And Dial is over there. So we've got some climbing to do. So have done 3 peaks of 5 today for total summits towards my 46. Again, we did Colvin twice. I'm over halfway through my mileage for the day, so I'm going to take that as a win. I didn't really realize that I had accomplished that, so that feels pretty good. Say, what's that now? This isn't where I parked my car. I must have, I'm in the backpacking sites. I must have taken the Privy Trail somewhere. Better pull up all trails and find my way back to the actual trail. So that's how quick it happens. I have a hat on, so sometimes I miss. I see right there the sign now for the Privy. But as I'm trucking down the trail and I see this, the path is like wider and more clear here. So that's where I went. And then this is actually where I should have gone. So it happens quick to get off trail. I'm just glad that wasn't too far down. As promised, a steep climb up. I think I'd mentioned it earlier and now my brain is not working as well. I think it was 1,000 or 1,100 feet of elevation gain in 0.6 maybe? I could be way off. I'll correct myself down below, but it's steep and quick. I will correct my last comment. Nothing is quick out here. You have to earn every inch of these trails. Starting to see the payoff from all that climbing. Starting to get a really pretty view. The views from the top here are supposed to be amazing. So I'm gonna get to the top, and that is where I'm gonna set up and have lunch and take a break. High peak number 8, just summited Nippletop. It was worth the climb up, and the climb up almost killed me. It was a rough one coming up. I'm glad to have taken that pack off and just kind of take a breather. You made it with me, buddy. I don't know everything I'm looking at here. There's a lot, but what a gorgeous view. There's no wind up here. It's just a really good spot to take a breather. I'm gonna have a little lunch, drink some water, and just enjoy the view for a little bit. And then I'm gonna head off over to Dial. I do know a few, so kind of peeking in the back, the highest one there, that's Mount Marcy. And then I do believe the one with kind of the scarring down the front there is Gothics. So I'm just gonna sit and enjoy the view for a little bit and hang out and go check around the view for the backside of the mountain and then get moving on to Dial. Really pretty view here of the Dix Range. That's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful views on top of here. The trail's been really pretty coming through between Nippletop and Dial. Very lush and green. It's just kind of like I'm in a fairy tale forest, which is a lot of the trail I've been seeing up here. It's really cool. It's a really beautiful area, and seeing kind of, this looks like there's some fire here, but this wood looks blue, and this is all so green. This area in here has also seen some stuff. I think I read that there's some fires. I think I mentioned that before, but a lot of trees that are looking like this, a lot of these blowdowns and stuff. Summit number 9. Just reached the top of Dial. Very gorgeous view. It's incredible up here. Nice view of Gothics here. So that's pretty cool. It's one with the kind of the scarring down the front. It's incredible up here. There's like no wind, little to no wind. Kind of snuck up on me too. I actually came up on this rock to take a picture and then realized I was at the top. So absolutely incredible. Gotcha, buddy. I am at 14 miles, 8 hours, 24 minutes. So that would put me at about 4.5 miles back to the car. So I do have to cross over. It's not another high peak, but I will go over Bear Den Mountain, whatever that is. So I do think I have a little bit of, kind of up and down before I gradually start descending back down that HG Leech Trail to come back out to Lake Road. I'm gonna sit and enjoy this view for a minute. Just on my final little approach here to Bear Den Mountain, and then I'll have just under 2 miles back to that HG Leech sign, and then probably another 1.4, 1.5 back to the car. So I am closing in on this, and after I reach the top of Bear Den, which I believe is right around the corner here, I should have a gradual descent all the way down back to the road. And as I say that, I'm hitting a marker here. So I do believe that this is the top, and I am going to head to the St. Hubert's parking. So here we go, just a gradual descend down. I thought I was done with hills. Apparently not. I did see that there was some up and down, but everything's kind of blurring together on where those spots are, but a little bit more up and down here. I mean, it went down obviously. So here is Dial here. Dial and Nippletop is right behind. So get to see a little bit of what we did today. So still cruising here. Got about another mile, I think, to get down to, that last mile and a half or so to get to the car. It's crazy how quiet it is out here today. So since I left Colvin the second time, I ran into a mother-son duo up there, and I ran into a group of 2 guys coming up Colvin, and then I didn't see anyone else till I got to the top of Nippletop. Probably right when I got to the top there, another guy just came up he was doing the loop, the Nippletop and Dial loop, but he did it the opposite way that I did. So we hung out up there for a little bit, and since I saw him, I haven't seen anyone else, not one other person on this trail. So it's been pretty quiet. As anticipated, from earlier this morning when I saw this sign and said I'd be grateful to see it. I am very grateful. I just leashed my poles so I can just do the quick walk out. So the total, I just have the walk out to the car on the road, maybe another mile or so, mile and a half, I'm not quite sure. So total mileage for this trip is 18.5. I will accomplish this in about 10 hours and 20 minutes. So not too bad. I set out to thinking I would do under 12 or under, or like right around 12. So not too shabby, but it's a tough hike. So it's a long hike, it's grueling, but it was amazing. Thanks so much for watching. Click subscribe to follow along on my future adventures. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at, you guessed it, Wild Fox Outdoors. I hope to see you on the trail. Stay wild.